All right, shalom, shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is our weekly Sabbath for the nation of Yehudah, the Yehudah Project. On our Saturday, we have our Supernatural Saturday. We're glad that you are here with us today. We have one more lesson after this one for the gathering of the one-third, the house of Israel. This may not be a very long lesson, but we're going to open up the floor for question and answer and do all the things that we need to do to get this thing done and finally have this, some of this stuff on the record. So I want to open up my screen so you guys can see my screen. And let me see, here we go. Let me do this. It has been a very beautiful day. It really, really has. Okay. All right, so let me know if you can see the screen. Can you guys see the screen? Yes? Somebody? Okay. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is the house of Israel. I think last week went very well. I got a lot of phone calls last week from a lot of different people that got a clear understanding of what was going on according to the scriptures. So we're gonna deal with the house of Israel, the headquarters. I always want you to remember this scripture. It is Isaiah chapter 2. Always remember Isaiah chapter 2 because this talks about where the headquarters is going to be, where Yah is and where he's going to be and when he comes to the earth and how this is going to operate. So Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1, it says, the word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. It says, it shall come to pass that in the last days that the mountain of the Most High's house shall be established in the top of the mountain. And it shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow into it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Most High, to the house of the Elohim of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Most High from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. And nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Any questions? So we got to know that when the Most High comes, that when he comes to set up this kingdom, he is going to dwell on the top of the mountain. The only difference between then and now is before only Moshe was the only one that was allowed to go up there. But now everybody will be allowed to go up there. That's in right standing with the Most High. Everybody will be. But I found something that was very unique, and I want to show it to you. Here we go. Now, Micah chapter 4 starts out the very same way that Isaiah chapter 2 starts out. The only difference is this. It says, Micah chapter 4, verse 4. It says, but they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig, and none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of the Most High of hosts has spoken it. Hold on one moment. Hold on just one moment. It says, for all the people will walk, everyone in the name of his God, and we will walk in the name of the Most High, our Elohim, forever and ever. And what it seems like is during that time, the people of the other nations will keep their God. Remember how the Most High gave each one of the nations their own God and their own language? They will keep their God. And to me, it seems like that's a separation between the people, the Gentile nations, and it's like almost like a hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the nation, and then it'll be their God, and then it'll be the children of the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the one-third, and we will go between with the gods of the people of the other nations. Because they're not going to be able to approach Yah on their own. Even when they come up to the mountain, they have to have an Israelite with them when this happens. So it just reinforces even the more that during this period when we're doing what we're doing, the Israelites are the go-between, and the people have to go through us in order to get to God. Now, I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that, especially the people of the other nations who believe that they are joint heirs with us and that they can do it. That's not what the scriptures say when it comes to the last days. It's very specific. It seems like it's a very detailed, organized government, and that there's a certain way to be able to do it. It's just like now when you go to the government, you just can't walk up and go up and walk into a person in Congress, their office, and just sit down and have a conversation. There's an order that has to be done. Any questions?
I want to make a comment. I want to ask a question. Is it possible that the next temple is going to have 12 gates to the entrance of the outer court or the inner court? I think it's the outer court because nobody goes into the outer court, the inner court. And it's only set up for the house of Israel. None of the other nations will be able to come in. If they bring in the offerings, we have to bring the offerings for them. That's what I understood.
So you're not talking about the temple that the Israelis is trying to build? No,
I'm not talking about that. Okay. I'm talking about there's going to be a 12 when it's all said and done. You understand? And we're back in our land. If we have to build our own temple or whatever, you understand, it's going to be 12 entrances. You understand?
Yes.
With the 12 tribes. You understand?
Yes.
And if the other nations is bringing offerings, you understand, we have to bring the offerings for them.
Yes. That's a hierarchy. I mean, that's the order of things. In other words, that's the chain of command. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it tears down a lot of the things that Christianity has given these people false hope on. That all you got to do is do this thing right here, and you'll be right up there with everybody else, and it's going to be one. But that's not the way this is reading. It says, for all people will walk, everyone, in the name of his God. And we will walk in the name of the Most High, Elohim, forever and ever. So it seems like the Most High is keeping that go-between there between those gods that he initiated and the people that he gave those gods to, so that there's a chain of command. That's what it looks like to me, that he's not going to break the separation and then everybody, it's a free-for-all and you can just come. It's not going to be that way.
But did when y'all had assigned those 70 gods to the people, did those gods turn against him and cause the people to fall away? In other words, the heathen?
They thought they wanted to worship. The people started to worship them. But you got to understand one thing about those gods. Those are eternal beings, so they don't die. So they stay there forever. Their eternal life or their immortality is there forever. He didn't change. I didn't see anywhere in the scripture where there was a changing of the guards or anything. Those are the same ones. And they have to come back under subservient unto the Most High. That's the way it's reading.
Well, did they not go against the Most High?
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, they did. But you got to understand
what I don't understand is that if they sin against the Most High, and cause the people to fall like they did to have the people to worship them, then why is it that the devil himself is going to be punished, but yet these guys aren't?
There's nothing to say that they won't be. We just don't. It may not be written in the book. I'm sure he's going to punish them in their own way. I'm sure he is. But I mean, it's not in the book because nobody gets away. I'm sure he will in his own way. I mean, the book just pretty much deals with the mortals, that are making either the mortals that are going to live long life or the ones that are going to make the transition from mortal to immortality. It doesn't really deal with a whole lot about what he does to the gods.
I guess this is where comes in there right here.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said this is where faith comes in at here.
Yeah.
That we trust Him.
Yeah, what question was that was asked?
He was saying that, these are the gods that the Most High appointed over the nations, and that these gods turned around and wanted to worship from the people, and it seems like that they would get punished because of what they've done. And I told him He will punish them. Nobody's going to get away.
Okay. Okay.
Nobody. Yes, okay, so let's keep going. Here we go. All right, now we're in Isaiah chapter 62. Isaiah chapter 62, that's good, thank you. It says, verse 1, we're going to start with verse 1. It says, for Zion's sake will I not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until the righteous thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all thy kings thy glory. And thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Most High shall name. Thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Most High, and a royal diadem in the hand of thy Elohim. And thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate. But thou shalt be called Hephzibah, and thy land Beulah, for the Lord delighteth in thee, and the land shall be married. And thy land shall be married. For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall thy Elohim rejoice over thee. I have set a watchman upon my wall, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that maketh mention of the Most High, keep not silent, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. And the Most High has sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength, surely I will no more give thy corn to be meat for thine enemies, and the sons of the stranger shall not drink thy wine, for the which thou hast labored. But they that have gathered it shall eat it, and praise the Most High, and they that have brought it together shall drink it in the court of my holiness. Go through the gate. Prepare ye the way of the people. Cast up the highway. Gather out the stones, lift up a standard for the people. Behold, the Most High has proclaimed unto the end of the world, say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they shall call them the holy people, the redeemed of the Most High, and thou shalt be called, sought out, a city not forsaken. Any question? So he said he's not going to stop till Jerusalem becomes a praise to the whole world, to the earth. And we know that's not this time because they're still fighting over it. So this is going to answer a lot of your questions when it comes to the Gentile. This is going to answer a lot of your questions that's coming up next when it comes to the Levite, because that came up last week. Well, what about the Levites? Well, the Levites going to still minister before y'all. And I said the Levites will always minister. But even in that, he's punishing those Levites who went after idols and did other things. He's basically going to strip them of the power and the position that they once had and give them a whole other position. And then a whole other group is going to come up and take care of them. So nobody's going to get away. Okay. Anybody have any questions? All right, here we go. Ezekiel chapter 44. It said, then he brought me back the way of the gate of the outward sanctuary, which looketh toward the east, and it was shut. Then said the Most High unto me, this gate shall be shut, it shall not be open, and no man shall enter in by it. Because the Most High, the Elohim of Israel, has entered in by it, therefore it shall be shut. It is for the prince. The prince, he shall sit in it to eat bread before the Most High. He shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate, and shall go out by the way of the same. Then brought he me the way of the north gate before the house, and I looked, and behold, the glory of the Most High filled the house of the Most High, and I fell upon my face. And the Most High said unto me, Son of man, mark well, and behold with thy eyes, and hear with thy ears all that I have to say unto thee concerning all the ordinances of the house of the Most High and all the laws thereof. And mark well the entering in of the house and every going forth of the sanctuary. And thou shalt say to the rebellious, even to the house of Israel, saith the Most High Elohim, O ye house of Israel, let it suffice you of all your abominations, in that ye have brought into my sanctuary strangers, uncircumcised in the heart and uncircumcised in the flesh, to be in my sanctuary, to pollute it, even my house. When ye offered my bread, the fat and the blood, they have broken my covenant because of all your abominations. So we know that in that day when we come, nobody's coming up to that house that's uncircumcised.
That is the reason why it was set aside that they have 12 gates, and none of the other nations is set up to go into the outer courts. I think it's the outer courts. Anyway, because who knows if they are circumcised in the heart and in the flesh? Who knows that?
And you know what, Paul, there was an issue in the New Testament where Paul was telling the Gentiles they didn't have to be circumcised. And it was like, no, that can't be right, because you're not going to be able to get joint heirs or be able to be a part of this kingdom here and not be circumcised. You're just not. And they said, well, circumcision. And I've heard so many Israelite brothers say that circumcision is now in the heart. No, he made sure that he made it very clear, in the heart and in the flesh.
That is correct. Absolutely.
So there's going to be a whole lot of brothers, you know, in of old age that's going to have to go back and have that done.
Absolutely.
And I would advise you do it now before they come up against us and make it illegal to do.
And it's not too late to be circumcised. Moshe was circumcised. What was it? Moshe that was circumcised at 80?
No, that was Abraham was circumcised at a late age.
Okay. At 80.
Moshe's sons was circumcised though, not with a rock.
Okay. So it's not too late for you to be circumcised.
No.
I mean the custom is that to be circumcised within the 8 days, I think it is, something like that.
Yep, the 8th day. Yep, that is true.
You understand? That's the custom. You understand? And there's no reason why now that that our children shouldn't be circumcised on the 8th day, because we know that now. That's not a new thing. That's been out there for years, that we're supposed to be circumcised on the 8th day. But anybody that wasn't circumcised on the 8th day, I don't think it's too late.
Well, you ain't gonna have no choice. It's not a matter of it. You won't have no choice, because this is going to be the requirement. And a whole lot of people, like I said, there's a whole lot of brethren that have been taught it's not necessary. But according to this, it is definitely necessary.
You're getting cut off when you do that.
Yeah. Sister Sanaya, are you still there? Give her a minute. Okay, now I'm going to check with her in a minute. Okay, but yeah. So let me finish what it says. Watch what it says. It says, and ye have not kept the charge of my holy things, but you have set keepers of my charge in the sanctuary for yourselves. Mm-hmm. Thus saith the Most High Elohim, no stranger, uncircumcised in heart, nor uncircumcised in flesh, shall enter into my sanctuary of any stranger that is among the children of Israel.
Hallelujah.
So it looks like it is definitely a requirement and that it's necessary.
That is correct.
So I don't know, Brother Donnie, you guys know better than me. How do we get this information out there? Because before they make it, and these people got insurance, this is something that has to be done.
Well, you getting it out there now. It's going to have to be word of mouth and have them read the scripture. If they read the scriptures, you you understand, from cover to cover, you understand what I'm saying? Then when this is mentioned, you understand, it will dawn on them, oh, I read that, and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, just like anything else, man, I overlooked a lot of stuff in there, but when you brought it to my attention, I understood that, hey, yeah, I read that. You can't do anything, man. You know, word of mouth is the only thing that I know that will get the message out there for most people. What happened here? What happened?
She may have gotten cut off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just stand by. Is she back?
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, I got cut out. But any time that we have dead time like that, it means my phone dropped. But yeah, we have to get the information out there to them for sure, so that they know. Because we have a whole church. We got a whole church full of people that they tell them the circumcision ain't necessary.
Well, it's word of mouth. That's the best you possibly can do. You understand? You know, I think that you're doing what you need. What you need to do is bring it out. You understand? Because, like I had just mentioned, you understand, a lot of things that I overlooked in the scriptures, and then when we read over it again, I could say, "Oh yeah, I've seen that, and now I understand." You understand? But you know, and a lot of people have read these books. You understand? Overlooked at this because somebody said it wasn't necessary. You understand? But when they go back and read it again, they'll understand once you bring it to their attention.
Absolutely. And this is Ezekiel 44, chapter 44, verse 9. We'll read it again. It says, "Thus saith the Most High Elohim, no stranger, uncircumcised in heart nor uncircumcised in the flesh, shall enter into my sanctuary of any stranger that is among the children of Israel." So we know if the strangers are not allowed to be uncircumcised, Israel definitely is not allowed to be uncircumcised.
That is correct.
And you better check with your insurance, too, because if they feel like it's not medically necessary, they won't do it. They won't pay for it.
But, you know, in my congregation, man, they had a sister. You understand? I think her name was. They had a sister. She circumcised almost every day. We had two. We had.
Go ahead, Brother Donald.
You know, in my congregation. I'm getting feedback.
Okay, why don't you hold on. Give me phone numbers. Okay, now let's try it now.
In my congregation.
Oh, yeah. I have to call back in.
Right, I'll go.
Okay. Yes, I mean, we're going to do this when it comes to the phone. You know, you just got to check it and see whose number it is. I put Angela's number on mute, and I think that's where the feedback was coming from. Angela, I put your number on mute. Let me stop here and go. You should all download Carl Eastward. Here is Much Learning Tools, Okay. She is reading, and you do not know where she is reading. You can catch a few words. Okay, we're in Ezekiel chapter 44 for the people who call in late. We're going to encourage you to be on time, and we're going to put it in the chat, but we are in Ezekiel chapter 44 right now, and we're on verse number 10. You know, so we can... Okay, Brother Donia, we can hear you now, so go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay. In the congregation that I was affiliated, Hashaba Yisrael, in 1972, there was a young lady who used to circumcise more than half of our community, and we had over 200 families. You understand? So when it comes to circumcision, the Almighty will raise somebody up. You understand? And I want to say that it might be a Levite You understand what I'm saying? I'm not sure, but it might be in the levy. In levy, it might be. The Cohen Sons.
Oh, I guess your insurance company may pay for it. Because we've had some brothers that have had it done since they started with the Nation of Yehudah, and their insurance company paid for it. So it just depends whether they will do it or not. But it don't hurt to try, to see what they say and what the cost is for it. It's not a matter of if. You need it done. So, it's something that you may have to pay for out of pocket, and I would much rather do it now while you have anesthesia than us get to the wilderness and you got to do it with a rock. I'm serious. That ain't no joke. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, it's necessary to get it done. If they tell you, because a lot of them will do it for cleanliness purposes, whatever, but some of the brothers have gotten it done since they have been in the Nation of Yehudah, and everything went well, and you just have to see what kind of insurance you got. But I would rather have some anesthesia and some drugs than to do it. I'm just saying. I mean, I would. All right, let's keep going. Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 6. He said, and the Levites that are gone away far from me, when Israel went astray. Now he can deal with the Levites. Watch what he said. I told you, ain't nobody going to get away. Watch what he said. Hold on just a minute. We going to get there quick. Okay, watch what he says about that. Here we go. He says, when they went astray, which went astray away from me after their idols, they shall even bear their iniquity. He said, yet they shall be ministered in my sanctuary, having charge at the gate of the house and ministering to the house. They shall slay the burnt offering and the sacrifice for the people, and they shall stand before them to minister unto them. Because they ministered unto them before their idols and caused the house of Israel to fall into iniquity, therefore have I lifted up my hand against them, saith the Most High Elohim, and they shall bear their iniquity. And they shall not come near unto me, to do the office of a priest unto me, nor to come near to any of my holy things in the most holy place, but they shall bear their shame and their abominations which they have committed. He says, but I will make them keepers of the charge of the house for all the service thereof and for all that shall be done therein. He said, but the priests, the Levites, the son of Zadok, that kept the charge of my sanctuary when the children of Israel went astray from me, they shall come near to me to minister unto me, and they shall stand before me to offer unto me the fat, the blood, saith the Most High Elohim. So like I said, the Most High was watching all this stuff. So when that happens again, it's going to be a change. It's like knowing that you were the president's right-hand man, and then you went behind his back, and you did something wrong behind his back, and he knew you did it. And you knew you did it. But he tell you, I ain't going to throw you out with the bathwater, but you know what? You can't do that. You can't be next to me no more like that. I'm going to have to give you some more duties because I can't. I know what you're about, and I can't trust you, basically.
Okay, let me ask a question if you all got a minute. My question is we in the latter days, you understand, and what's going to happen when the children are born in the wilderness? You understand? Are we going to ask the insurance company?
No, we ain't going to have no choice. You're going to have to do it whatever. I don't know we're going to have. Well, I can't say we're not going to have children in the wilderness because I'm sure somebody's bound to be pregnant. They going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Just saying.
I mean, the old-fashioned way is they had sedatives and et cetera, man. You understand? When you're a child, you understand what I'm saying, and they go through the procedure, you understand what I'm saying? It's not no grievous circumstances.
Oh, no, not when you're a baby, but grown up.
And see these, the woman that, see, See, remember, man, we was in Egypt, man. We had midwives that were Hebrew Israelites. They were trained up to do that type of stuff.
And they had to bite that leather strap, too.
Right. You better believe it. All of us did. Guess what? You all did it for that, and we did it for childbearing, because it wasn't none of that.
That was after you've gotten older, of course. You understand what I'm saying? You know, but you know, when you know, we're starting out new again. You understand? Right. You know, and so when we have children in the wilderness, they gonna after 8 days or within the 1 to 8 days, they gonna be circumcised. So we ain't gonna have no elder circumcised. Maybe I doubt that, but you know, because most of us supposed to be circumcised about this time right now. Those of us are Hebrew Israelites.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're going to go back to the way we used to do it. But like I said, you know, while you still get here, and you can do it and have some sort of comfort with it, you know, because you'd be surprised how many are not. Some others just didn't feel it was necessary or didn't know the necessity of it all, you know, and they just didn't do it. So, you know. But, I mean, we'll have to see. But you see what he did to the Levites, the ones who was idol worshiping. He said, you can't worship before me. I'll give you another duty, but you can't do that before me. Watch. He said, they shall enter into my sanctuary, and they shall come near to my table to minister unto me, and they shall keep my charge. Okay, now, any questions about that? None? Okay, let's keep it moving. The whole world, watch what it says. Ezekiel chapter 45, we're at verse 16. Ezekiel chapter 45, we are at verse 16. Ezekiel 45, verse 16. All the people of the land shall give this oblation for the prince in Israel. And it shall be the prince's part to give burnt offerings and meat offerings and drink offerings in the feast and in the new moons and in the Sabbath. So that sounds like to me the law is implemented again. So we're going to have feasts, we're going to be celebrating the new moon, and we're going to be doing the Sabbath for the whole world.
Absolutely.
So guess what's happening now? They told us now we didn't have to keep it. Well, we don't have to keep it now, and it's done away with. Well, how's it coming back later?
Absolutely. I didn't have no doubt in my mind, because once we started talking about going into the wilderness and reestablishing ourselves, I knew all of this stuff was going to have to because, see, we didn't get it right the first time.
Exactly. And somebody told me, oh, no, I was telling them about the Feast of the Tabernacles being outside. Oh, no, I'm not doing something like that. And I said, ain't nothing I can say.
They cut themselves off, sister. you cut yourself off, man, when you deny the laws, the statutes, and commandments. Your prayers will not be heard.
Yeah. And not only that, this is not just for Israel. This is for the whole world. Everybody going to have to do it. So it's going to replace Christmas. It's going to replace Thanksgiving. It's going to replace Easter. It's going to replace Halloween. It's going to replace all. There ain't going to be no more of that.
Absolutely.
And don't forget about the time, because the time is going to be changed back.
Of course. Everything is going to go back to the way it's supposed to go for the whole world. Mm-hmm. You know, so like I said, when they say, oh, we ain't got to keep the law, that's done away with. Christ nailed it to the cross. Evidently he didn't, because if he's bringing this back during that 1,000-year reign, you're going to have to do it.
How can we just go somewhere, you understand, and accept what the Almighty, what we expect from the Almighty, when we didn't get it right the first time? We have to start all over and start getting this stuff right. We have to, because the Almighty said righteousness will flow from Jerusalem throughout the whole earth.
Right,
so we cannot have half step here.
Mm-mm. No. And that's when the whole earth is going to be involved, and the whole earth is going to participate. And them nations that come up, they will keep their gods, and they're going to have to be made to participate as well. Everybody's going to participate in this. He said, in all solemnity of the house of Israel, he shall prepare the sin offering and the meat offering for the sacrifice coming back.
Okay, you said that they can keep their gods?
They're going to keep their name. They're going to come in the name of their God. They're not going to be, I'm talking about the Gentiles, they will not have Yah as their God.
You know, those gods that they have accepted, like Molech and Baal and all of them,
I know, but they ain't going to be able to do the rituals. He's going to make everybody do his. Nobody's going to do no rituals.
Okay. See, that's what happened with us. That's what happened when we stepped out of a lot of our brothers and sisters were involved in that Judaism stuff with rabbis and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They stepped away and they gave up that name, you understand, but they kept the rituals. Yeah, and I think that's what got us in trouble. That's just my opinion.
That's sure it is. He said, and the burnt offerings and the peace offerings to make reconciliation for the house of Israel. And guess what? So we're talking about those people who are mortals is the only ones that are going to need reconciliation, because the ones who have made the cut won't need it no more. But that's why I believe that they're coming back. All of the people that were part of our families who didn't know who they were, they have to have that experience and know that they're Israel, which explains the children playing in the street and the old man and the old woman on the street corner with their staffs and all of that. That has to happen. Let me see. He says, and the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering and put it upon the post of the house and upon the four corners of the settle of the altar and on the post of the gate of the inner court. And thus saith the Most High Elohim, in the first month, in the first day of the month, thou shalt take a young bullock without blemish and cleanse the sanctuary. And so thou shalt do the seventh day of the month for everyone that err, and for him that is simple, so shall ye reconcile the house. And in the first month, in the 14th day of the month, ye shall have the Passover, a feast of 7 days. Unleavened bread shall be eaten. So not only that, the feast is coming back. Everybody's going to keep the feast. And remember, I read to you, let me see if I can commit it to memory. I'm thinking it's Isaiah chapter 13, where he tells the other nations, or it's in Zachariah, when he tells the other nations that in order for you to get rain, you're going to have to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, or you're not going to get no rain. He said, and upon that day shall the prince prepare for himself and for all the people of the land a bullock for a sin offering. And 7 days of the feast he shall prepare a burnt offering to the Most High, 7 bullocks and 7 lambs without blemish daily, the 7 days, and a kid of the goat daily for a sin offering. And he shall prepare a meat offering for an ephah for a bullock, and an ephah for a lamb, and a hin of oil for an ephah. And in the 7th month, in the 15th day of the month, shall he do the like in the feast of the 7 days, according to the sin offering, according to the burnt offering, and according to the meat offering, and according to the oil. And all of those are the sacrifices, and they're coming back. Any questions? So all of this is getting ready to happen again, so that we have this a part of what we're trying to do. All of it. Ezekiel chapter 46. It says, and the prince, and we're going to start at verse 10, Ezekiel 46 and 10. And the prince in the midst of them, when they go in, shall go in, and when they go forth, shall go forth. And in the feast, and in the solemnity, the meat offering shall be an ephah to a bullock, and an ephah to a ram, and to the lambs as he is able to give, and a hin of oil to an ephah. Now, when the priest shall prepare a voluntary burnt offering or peace offering voluntarily unto the Most High, one shall then open him the gate that looketh toward the east, and he shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offering as he did on the Sabbath day. Then he shall go forth, and after his going forth, one shall shut the gate. Thou shalt daily prepare a burnt offering unto the Most High of a lamb of the first year without blemish. Thou shalt prepare it every morning. And thou shalt prepare a meat offering for it every morning, the 6th part of an ephah, and the 3rd part of an hin of oil, to temper with fine flour, and a meat offering continually by a perpetual ordinance unto the Most High. Any questions? So we have established that there's going to be a priesthood there, the Levitical priesthood, which we talked about last week. They're going to be able to get married and have children. They're going to live. The child will live to be 100 years old or more. They're going to bring back the sacrifices. Going to come back. The burnt offering, the sin offering, the oil offering. All of those offerings is going to come back before the Most High. He's going to have a different. The sons of the dope are going to be the ones that are going to minister before Him, and we're going to keep all the feasts and the high holy days and the new moon and the Sabbath. Basically, the law.
I have a question.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, how do we know that this is equal, everything we read, it didn't apply, it wasn't just for when they were setting up, after they left Egypt the first time, and they were setting up their nation?
Well, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is because I have an issue with that, the meat sacrifice thing. I just believe, because I believe that Christ was the Messiah, I believe that He was the sacrifice, as far as the sacrifice for sin, forever.
Well, you have to understand this, too, though. You have to understand that the people that are coming back to be born again, to find out that they're Israel, they have to learn the same things that we learned. When He came to Mount Sinai to teach us those things, that was a specific group. But you got to think about all of the people that have died. Just think about in your family that came back here on the ships. Whoever your ancestor was that hit the land, that went through slavery, that had children, and their children's 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 children, 400 years down the lineage, that they lost their identity and who they were. So when we fast forward to today, and the Most High wakes you up, and maybe a couple of other people in your family, but everybody else has been in Christianity all their lives, and that's all they've ever known. If they died waiting on the rapture to come and get them, and waiting on the Most High to take them to heaven, not knowing that they were Israel. So when He wakes them up and they're allowed to be woke in this world that's to come this 1,000 years, they have to understand the same laws that we had to understand. They have to know what the reason for the Sabbath day. They have to know the reason for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. They have to know the reason for the burnt offering and the sin offering and all of the meat offerings and all of those things, because they have to get used to the way things are done right now. Because to take that away from them, all they would have would be their identity that they were Israel. They wouldn't be able to explain to you the necessity of that and why that's even in place.
They happen to be with the fact that learning obedience is all part of learning obedience?
It's obedience to do that. That's what obedience is measured on, whether or not we do it. You know what I'm saying? It's such a small thing, but obedience is measured on whether we're obedient to do what He told us to do. Just like I told you, the one person told me, oh, no, I'm not going to do no stuff like that. You know? And it's simple things. When you really think about it, it's not anything major. It's just the obedience of it and the inconvenience that it may cause some people where they feel like, why we got to do all that and go through? Because He said so.
Right? I don't have an issue with the tabernacles, all the feasts, because I think that was a way by which the Most High wanted us to celebrate, and He can commune with us during those feasts and those types of things. But it's just that meat sacrifice thing is where I feel that Christ fulfilled that.
Well, he did and he didn't. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we have to, that's how it's going to have to be according to what the Word says, and it's coming back according to what the Word says. And we just have to allow, because the priesthood is going to still minister. They're still going to kill the fatted calf. They still going to kill the bullock and the ram and all that. They're going to do it on Passover. You know, we're going to still sacrifice the lamb on Passover. You know, because even if say we did away with the offerings, period, and there was no offerings done, we still got to sacrifice the animal on Passover unto the Most High. You know, somebody could say, well, what's the purpose of the death angel? Why are we going through the Passover? Because there's no need to keep the Passover. Jesus conquered death, hell, and the grave when he came back. But it's necessary because he said we have to do it. That's what he said. And we have to be obedient to what he tells us to do. Because like I said, the obedience isn't anything that's grievous. It's not grievous at all. It just may be inconvenient for some of us, but it's not grievous at all. You know, but we have to do it. We definitely have to do it. It's just what he said.
Shalom, family.
Shalom.
Shalom. This is Sister Couture. I hate to go back to a previous topic, but I keep getting kicked out, so I'm on my phone and on my laptop. I just want to let the family know, when we go into the wilderness, we are not going as individuals or as families. We are going as a nation, and that nation includes doctors, dentists. Now, I normally don't tell anybody this, but I have a complete surgical kit in my house. I don't know how to use it. I can't tell you what each thing is without the diagram. But I know if one of our brothers needs to be circumcised, I have that surgical kit, and I'm sure we could find a midwife or a doctor who could perform the surgical, the circumcision. So we need to understand we're not going to go, y'all not going to let us go unprepared.
No. Nope. Everything is going to be there for our benefit so that we'll be able to do what it is that we need to do. But, when we talk about his kingdom coming and the things that's coming, you got people that are going to be born into the whole Israelite nation, and they're not going to know what is sin. And this is a very, very good topic because I want to do a class on this so bad. I'm just holding off because we understand that sin is the transgression of the law.
Yes. And you have to be circumcised.
And they're going to break the law. And they're going to break the law. They're going to do things to break the law. Getting to understand what the law is. Because once we make the cut of the 1/3, we already made it. We made it in the first resurrection. But these people are being born into this, and it's a whole new group of people that's going to live a long life. So we have to teach them what sin is. And sin is the transgression of the law. That's why I have a problem with salvation and Christianity. We have to throw all of that stuff away.
Yeah. That's going to be hard because, that right there is so ingrained in their brain, telling you.
Well, you know what, right? It's not going to be hard. Let me tell you why. Because the people you're talking about ain't going to make it. Those people are not going to make it. They're going to have to make a choice knowing once he opens up their eyes. I'm talking about the people that are going to be born into the kingdom, the 1,000-year reign. The people you're talking about are the people that's going to the wilderness or not going to the wilderness. They have to make a choice. But when we talk about Christianity and the law and what is sin, that whole salvation piece is no good. None of it is no good. Because think about it. You're baptized with Christ, and you go down in the water and you come up. and you're filled, so-called, with the Holy Spirit that keeps you from sinning, that keeps you from doing the thing that you're not supposed to do, and the Holy Ghost is supposed, and I'm talking to the Christians now, the Holy Ghost is supposed to lead and guide you into all truth, but nobody tells you what sin is. So no matter what they do, whether you get baptized, whether you huck a mashanda or huck a mahanda or whatever you do, when you come up out of that water and you go on your journey and start your journey, you still sinning because why? You're still breaking the law. From the moment they drive you off and put your clothes back on and you go sit out there in that edifice and you feel like a weight has been taken off of your shoulders, you are still breaking the law. Because right after the service, you're going to go home and eat you a ham sandwich and have a ham dinner. All of that's against the law. None of it is real. Even with salvation, when we're doing what they call salvation, it is not real. Because the moment we draw, we keep it Christmas. So we have to learn how to deprogram ourselves and understand what kind of kingdom we're in, know what kind of people we are right now. Because right now, all we're doing is coming into our identity, learning about our God through the Word, understanding what our culture is, separating ourselves from religion, because we're not a religion, we're a nation, and then understanding how we are supposed to live. Because salvation comes with keeping His laws, His statutes, and His commandments. And that's how you become obedient. So even though Christ did die, and He did do that, and I believe He did that, we still are not where we're supposed to be in terms of what we're doing as a people. We can't mix the two. There can be no mixture with Christianity and Hebrew Israelism at all.
You can. I have a question. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
A question on Malachi chapter 4. Now, is that during the period, I think it was 2 through, where we wrote, 2 through, what was it, 4 through 5, 5 through 7. Anyway, you read Malachi 4. Is that during the 1,000 years?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And the reason I asked is because if you read 11 through 15, it sounds like it is during that 1,000 years regarding the nations when they're going to rebel.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's why I didn't want to go through the whole thing, because I just wanted to show you that one part. But if you guys have time, you can read the whole thing. It parallels with Isaiah chapter 2. It's kind of the same thing, so, yeah, exactly. We have to understand, that there's a certain way that He has things set up. And for us as a people, we don't have a choice. We have to live it that way. It has to be that way. And understanding all of the things that are going on right now, it has to be that way. Because this is how we're obedient to the Most High. And I know that because in Christianity, I used to tell Him all the time, I love you. I used to just stand in the middle of the floor and be like, I love you. And I heard it just as clear as you're talking to me. He said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. Heard it in my mind, just as clear. If you love me, you'll keep my commandments. So, once we get past, and let me say this, once we get past the pomp and the ceremony and the sideshow, if we cut the music off, cut the screaming off, and cut the singing off, and really get to studying this word, that's why this word is so important. You'll get to understand the God of Israel and know how He operates. And these are the things that He said. Sin is the transgression of the law. And people tell me, I've been saved from sin. I don't sin no more. That's a lie. Yes, you do. You're sinning right now. Because if I ask you today, are you coming to Passover? Now, that's for the Jews. We don't have to do that. That ain't got nothing to do with us. But there's no straddling of the two. We have to definitely separate ourselves from that. You know, so that we understand exactly what's going on in this thing here. You know, in this society, in these captivities, in these lands where we are, in the captivities that we are in, scattered all over the four corners of the earth. But when we come back together, that's when peace will initially come back into the land. Why? Because we're going to keep the law. His law, statutes, and his commandments. We're going to keep them.
I just had a thought about the sister that didn't like the Feast of the Tabernacle. And, you know, it's nothing but going out in a tent on the outside of wherever you are and having a meal, or maybe that's how we're doing it now anyway. And I was thinking and they will go out on a snowy day to shop for Christmas. Yeah. But to go and have a meal in a tent, it's too much.
Yeah.
Which is really ridiculous.
And you know what it is? It's the comfort of this captivity. You know, people have gotten comfortable to the point where they don't understand. This is mandatory. Like I told this person, this isn't something that you choose to do. This is mandatory. You have to do this. Now, some of us can't do it because of the way we work, and we do the best that we can where we at. But when we come together and there is no more restrictions, it is going to be it's already mandatory, but it is really going to be mandatory. Mandatory. We have to. But we got comfortable. Like you said, we'll go out in the snow, shovel the ice off our cars, and we'll go shopping for a pagan holiday that's not even real. No, let's back it up a little further. Halloween coming. Let's deal with that. You see how many of us so-called people who believe still dress their children up and take them out trick-or-treating because it's for the kids. And at some point, you have to stop. You just have to make a sacrifice and say, no, we're not going to do this anymore. You know, you're right. People do what they want to do, what is convenient for them to do. And that's just how it is. All right, let me go here. Zechariah chapter 8, we reiterating some of the things. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 1, it says, again, the word of the Most High of Hosts came to me, saying, thus saith the Most High of Hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith the Most High, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. Can you guys still hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, because I got some credentials saying that it was cut off. That's why, man, it came across the screen. Hold on. You see, when you dealing with...
We're back. Is the screen still working? I don't see. Are you reading from Zechariah?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to put it back up because they said it was terminated. So they're connecting it back for me again. That's why I asked you if you could still hear me. And I'm glad you said something about the screen because they're connecting the screen back again. And, of course, when we start teaching and preaching this kind of stuff, we're going to get some pushback. And technology is not going to work all of a sudden out of nowhere. But it is what it is. We have to teach this. We don't have a choice in the matter. Okay, I'm back again. I think that it came back up. Let me put it back on here so you can see it. But, it's interesting, to have these things, that we'll be able to use these things like we can use them now. But we got to understand something. When we teach this stuff, we coming up against a whole bunch of folks. Okay, here we go. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, uh-huh.
You say yes? Okay. Can you see it now?
I don't see it.
No. Hold on. Let me figure out what's going on. But, okay, let's see where we are. Okay. All right, apply changes. Can you see it now?
see it at the bottom of my screen, but it's not full screen.
It's not full screen? Okay, let me see if I can make it full screen.
We don't see it at all.
You don't see it at all? Hold on.
Just black.
It's black. Okay. Okay, let's try that now. What about now?
No.
Yes, I see it.
You see it?
We're
Okay.
saying no screen. Now it's back.
Okay, here we go.
Back.
All right, glad to have you back. Let me go back.
Yeah.
We're in Zechariah chapter 8, verse 3. It says, Thus saith the Most High, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of the Most High post, the holy mountain. Well, we know that can't be now because they fight now. Jerusalem is not a city of no peace or truth. You know, even in the land of Jerusalem, they have a gay parade every year. In the city of Tel Aviv, every year. It says, Thus saith the Most High Post, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age. And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof.
Angie?
People in these days should it also be marvelous in mine eyes, saith the Most High. That's what he says. Thus saith the Most High host, Behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country, and I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim in truth and in righteousness. Thus saith the Most High of hosts, it shall yet come to pass that here shall come people and inhabitants of many cities. We are going to have other people that are going to be there. Other nations will be there. You know, Israel gets to the point where they get territorial. I can understand it. We've been in captivity. We've been done wrong. And you have a lot of the camps that teach all these people going to be destroyed. That is not true. Not according to Zechariah chapter 8. It says, Thus saith the Most High of hosts, it shall yet come to pass, and that there shall come people and the inhabitants of many cities. And the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, Let us go speedily to pray before the Most High, and to seek the Most High of hosts. I will go also. Yea, many people and strong nations shall come to seek the Most High of hosts in Jerusalem, and to pray before the Most High. It says, Thus saith the Most High of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nation. Even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is an Israelite, saying, We will go with you, for we have heard that Yah is with you. Any questions? So other people will be there.
Was that Zechariah 8:23?
That's Zechariah chapter 8, and I went all the way down to from 1 to verse, let me see where we were. I think it's 23.
Okay, 23.
From Zechariah chapter 8, from verse 1 through 23. So somebody in the Gentile nation will also make the cut to be able to be there and to live in those 1,000 years. Everybody on the whole earth is not going to die. They will have to go through Israel, but everybody on the whole earth is not going to die. And it's just going to be us during that 1,000 years. That's not true, because those that make the transition from mortal to immortal will be given territories to rule over, and we will rule those nations.
Sister, I might be out of line, but I'd like to go back to the sacrifices again. I agree with that caller about Christ being our final sacrifice. I had to go back into the New Testament, and I had to go to our book, which is Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went back to it, it verified her claim as Christ being our final sacrifice, because he made that sacrifice. He established it so that we no longer go through the blood sacrifice again. And that is found in Hebrews, the 9th chapter, and then the 10th chapter. It puts a seal on it. The 10th chapter through the 1st through the 10th, and it goes on. And I read it. I've been reading it since you've been going on, but because I kind of had a little problem with that also.
You're not out of line, and let me say something. I'm going to ask one question. When the Messiah came, I want everybody to answer this for her. When he's in the New Testament and he's coming, he has a specific group that he's coming for. Who is that group?
For the Hebrews. For his people.
The one-third. He's coming for the one-third. So you're absolutely right. He did make that sacrifice for us. And once he made that sacrifice for us, we didn't have to do that anymore. And we don't have to do it now. We won't. We don't have to do that anymore. Once we get to the wilderness, we won't sacrifice in the wilderness either. Because it's going to be in there that I believe the cut is going to be made. I don't know how he's going to do it or when he's going to do it, but we won't bring back the sacrifice in the wilderness. That won't come back then. So for the people that he came for, because he told you why he came. He said, I came before the lost sheep of the house of Israel to redeem the one-third. We don't have to do it anymore, right? But when he comes back to set up his kingdom on the earth, not only does he have Israel coming, that's going to be reborn again, but he has the other nations that are going to be there as well. And are going to live under that law. So that has to come back into play because the scripture says that it will.
I think they're not
that 1,000-year reign.
Yeah, the 1,000-year reign. I think that's where they're getting a little confused. The 1,000 years is all that's going to be happening. Because remember, after 1,000 years, then that's when the new kingdom come down and everything is cleansed.
Exactly. So, when we're talking about the 1,000-year reign, when he comes to set up his kingdom, he did that for us in this kingdom so that we could make it through this, the one-third can make it through this. The people that are coming back won't go through this. They've already died. They're gone. Your grandmother's 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 grandmother is gone already. She won't come back and do this here again. When they come back, they'll come back in the 1,000-year reign, and the priesthood will be established again, and the whole earth is going to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. Because the scripture says they are. And the Levi tribe is going to be reinstated. Right now, this is the gathering of the one-third, those people that the gods that the dragon swept out with his tail in Revelation chapter 12.
Okay, I get it now. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So once we get through this phase and we make it into the wilderness and he makes the cut, because it's only going to be a third that's going to make it, and we make the cut. But like we read before, he said, if you are deemed worthy to live in that world, you won't die no more. And you won't be able to die again because you'll be like the angels. But there's going to be a group that's going to be mortal. And the sacrifice is for the mortal group that's coming on the scene that are Israelites that have to live a certain kind of way. And not only for the Israelites, but the Gentiles too, because they have to keep the law. The law is going to be worldwide. It's not just going to be catered to one group of people, but they have to come through us in order to get the reconciliation necessary. Because there's not going to be no war no more. There's not going to be none of that no more. But if you don't keep the laws, statutes, and the commandments, he said if they don't keep the Feast of Tabernacles, they're not going to get no rain. So if they break that, and they don't keep it, somebody's got to atone them back in right position to the Most High. And the only people that can do that is the Levi tribe, because that's the order that he set in from the beginning. Because sin is going, you know what I'm saying? That's all set up for sin. So that when the people come alive and they do certain things, and I got to figure out what that scripture is, but it's a scripture that says, we're going to be there to steer the people like, don't do that. The ones that make it the immortals, we're going to be there to tell them, don't do that. Don't make that mistake. You get ready to make a mistake. No, but we have to understand the importance of the time and how this is set up, separated in time. Because you're talking about Gentiles and people of the other nations that are left of the sword that are going to be coming back to live in the kingdom. And a lot of the Israelites are, Gentiles won't make it and I ain't going to make it, because it's all this is to those who overcome. And it's only going to be 1/3 of the house of the lost sheep of the house of Israel that's going to be redeemed in this go around. Now, when he comes back and he has his own kingdom, then the other people will be reborn again, like my grandfather's father's father's father, that I never got a chance to see. They're going to come back knowing that they're Israel. They're going to come back born that when they open their eyes, they're not going to be in captivity. They're going to be in the land of Yah, and they're going to know that they're Israel, but they have to be taught the law. And that's all the part of the process of the law. All that come together. Because no longer will he be operating as a sacrifice. He will be the king. Living on the mountaintop in his house. We read that in Isaiah chapter 2. And we can go, that's why next week is so important, because I'm going to go into, a whole other phase of that and what happens to them once they finish their journey. And to wrap this thing up so you understand how this is going to go, according to the scripture. That's how we can go. He worked the end from the beginning. That's all we have.
So, Sister Yaina, what's going to be the incentive for the Gentiles and the other nations to adhere to our nation and where we can establish to them or help them understand what is the right way by the Most High? I mean, why would they do it? If they've been taught all this long time about rapture and all that, what's going to be their incentive? Is it them getting through the tribulation?
Yeah, it's going to be a terrible time, sis. That's going to be a terrible time.
Destroyed.
Right, that's right, to be able to live. That's
because I think in the 60s says that a nation that would not serve you will be utterly destroyed. So if they don't want to serve, then they're destroyed.
They're destroyed. He ain't going to play. He's not coming to play. If you're going to line up, you're going to be destroyed. And he said those nations that are left of the sword, the ones that left it, that made it through it, they're going to have to come up and do it. Now, there's going to be a period, which we're going to get into next week, where Lucifer's going to be loose after the 1,000 years to be able to entice those nations, not the Israelites, but those nations to come up against us.
Yeah. Sister Yaina, a question in the chat. I guess to ask, when will the bride be at the wedding feast? Will that be when some go to the wilderness?
Tell it next week. The wedding feast is going to be in it next week. The rapture is going to be in it next week. We're going to wrap it up next week. I'm going to have all the answers to that next week. Next week. Now, yeah, they get to live. And after you come out of a tumultuous time like that, and then seeing the death and the destruction and all that, and you get to make it, look, you know what I'm saying? So don't be disobedient, but you always going to have those that's going to, grumble and do, but they're going to have to do it. They ain't going to have no choice. Just like in this captivity, we have to do it. We got no choice. We living in these lands, we got to do it. It is what it is. Okay, here we go. Next scripture. It says, Isaiah chapter 11. We're going to deal with the animals and what the kingdom is going to be like. It says Isaiah 11 and 6. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 6. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid. And the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. So ain't going to be no more. The animal, he's going to take the taste for blood out of the animal's mouth. It's going to be 1,000 years of peace. And the suckling child shall play on the hole of the ass, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den, and they shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Most High as the waters cover the sea. And in that day shall there be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people, to which shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glory. I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to go no further. But, I mean, this is going to be a very different time, 1,000 years of peace, and no other nation has ever had it. None. Not a peace. Because all we've known is war, murder, and killing. To be able to be on top. But he coming. And there's going to be a war first. Because he coming to set war. The thing is, though, and this is the $1 million call. I want you guys to think about this. Remember in Daniel chapter 2. And we're down in the feet, the toes that are mixed with iron and clay. He said, in the days of these kings will I set up my kingdom. So I think that he's going to do something premature before he actually comes back to fight. But he said, in the days of these kings will I set up my kingdom. I want you to get that some thought. But, yeah, I mean, those people get to live. And in the process of them living, they have to be obedient. They have to keep the law, statutes, and the commandments. They have to follow about whatever it is that we set in order, and we will be there, those that made it through the cut to 1/3, to make sure that they follow. And remember, we read the scripture where it said ain't going to be no prophets in the land. It ain't going to be none of that. And that if a mother and a father find out that their son is prophesying and lying, they're going to thrust him through. They're going to kill him. It said it wasn't going to be no death. It just said it wasn't going to be no war. Any questions? Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, in the chat. Okay. I guess after the 1,000 years is over, will there be Gentiles in the new city or only Israel?